My name is Albert, and this is Cropping Out. This week on Cropping Out, we balance out the potato container using lettuce and beans. We plant these strawberries where these have died. We plant these little tomato suckers that have grown roots. And we plant a new scheme using these peas, nasturtiums, and gooseberries. So we've got our potato container here, and we had to wait for the potato container to see that the potatoes are actually starting to grow. Now that they've actually started to produce some leaves, what we can do is we can start to add some plants that will balance out the nutrients in the soil. Now, to do that, we need to do similar things as we have done with the tomatoes. So we'll use the beans again, which is our go-to, and again our leafy plants. So what we want to do though is we want to be careful, because as you see, we've got lots of little ones still coming up here. So we want to plant around them and try to leave some space for more to come up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with these guys, and I'm just going to plant 3 of them. So let's take 3 of them out. Let's put one in the corner there. One over here. You can see there's one coming out there, so we'll be careful to put it in between those 2. And then put one in this corner as well. And then the rest I will plant in the other potato containers. I'll just do one for you guys today. And then in between that, let's actually do the peas first. So let's just say we'll actually do a lot of peas, because remember, the peas are the entry point. They create the nitrates, which both the other plants are going to use. The leafy plants will use some of the nitrates and turn that into phosphorus, and then the potatoes will also use some of that nitrates, and all 3 will use nitrates, in fact. So we actually need a lot more of the entry-level plant, and then gradually fewer of the others. So these beans we can actually plant close to each other, as we've discussed before as well. Although we do want to spread them out just a little, because again we want to make sure that all of our plants do have access to them. So let's put one in the middle here as well. And again, with our interplanting scheme, we don't have to worry so much about how close plants are to each other. It's actually a good thing, because we want them to pick up the various nutrients. You'll see we just exposed a little potato there. The bean is right next to it, but that's okay. Okay, I think we'll put a couple here. And I think that will be it. Put those aside for now. And then always loosen your roots. Very important. And then you can also just cut off the dead plant material, and then dig drilling a nice little hole for it here, and we will make sure it's nice and solid. And oops, let's make sure we get the roots loosened here. This guy is also a little damaged, so we'll do that as well. Again, I am looking out for any new potato plants in between these guys, and we will be removing as much of this as we need when we harvest the potatoes. But then when we do harvest the potatoes, hopefully the soil will be as nutrient rich as we could have made it when we want to reuse it. Let's see, these are all okay. I don't need to remove anything there. There we go. That's our balancing of the potato container. Let's see how that turns out. As you see, this is the container where we did the strawberries last week, and we planted these brassicas last week, and you can see basically all of these guys are dead. This experiment didn't work, and that's because at least the strawberries, they don't like transplanting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transplant these guys one more time into a different pot and hope that they survive. But I think they're pretty much dead, but I'm going to try to revive them, and then I'm going to transplant these new ones in here along with some new brassicas, as you've just seen in the potato container as well. And then let's hope that these new ones survive. So let's just get started removing these guys. Let's see these roots here. It's always good to just look as well at the roots to see if there's anything going on. You see the roots are quite healthy actually. There's nothing eating them. There's no eggs or anything, it seems. That's just the bone meal that we put in here. So yeah, I think maybe if we chop off some of these leaves and we plant it in their own individual pots with a lot more bone meal, that they might survive. So let's just put them aside for now and hope we can rescue them. But just in case we can't, let's see if we can plant some new ones instead. Even a little baby one over here is not picky. Okay, right. So I'm going to leave these guys and hope that they will rebound. However, I will add some new ones as well. So let's take out this. This is nice and wet. Let's use the gloves for these. Again, we want to always loosen the roots as much as we can. And we will just plant this guy right over here. And we will actually use some of its own soil around it. Hopefully that will help naturalize it into this new container. And then let's put another one, put the other one right over there. Sometimes when you buy these, they already have strawberries on, which is really the first prize. But this time I was not lucky. See, this one's roots are a lot less loose, so let's actually put a lot more effort into achieving that. Okay, right, just uncover this one over here. Let's put some straw back in that pot. There we go. Let's just add a few more of these salad leaves. I'm going to just remove this leaf over here. Actually, all of the ones at the bottom over here, and then we'll just dig a little hole here. There we go. Let's add one more. Right over here. Okay. Okay, let's plant these old strawberries in this container. And make a little hospital for them over here. I added a lot of bone meal to this container, so let's hope that will help them recover. And if they do recover, we will put them in a larger container again so that they can expand. Okay. Let's go ahead and harvest some of the salad leaves that we've got in the tomato container as it is. As you can see, it's growing quite well. And what we want to do is we just want to take the outside leaves of this cut and come again version. You can actually see from this plant we could probably split this. But for now, we'll just take the outside ones and cut them down there. And we have some leaves. And we can repeat the process. You just want to leave the little ones at the center. So we've actually got quite a lot here. So I'm going to actually keep going and take this big one as well. And then let's move through to this one's over here. This is a very big one. Again, we just want to leave the ones in the center. This plant is actually growing amazingly well. And in here, This one we actually can't eat. See, it's not doing so well, so we'll throw that one away, but it's good to remove it. And we'll keep. You'll actually see there's a very good indicator that when they start to kind of hang loose from the plant, that's a good indicator that they need to be harvested. So we'll harvest all of those. And when you're at the end of the season, you can just chop off the whole bush of plants, just like this. And then we will also get some of the scale leaves. Now this is a bit more tricky because we have to get these little twigs like this, and here you can really just go ahead and cut. It doesn't really matter how you do it. Want to again take the bigger ones if we can, but this is a start of a nice salad if you're so inclined. And yeah, we've got another bunch of leaves over here that we can trim. That one just came off by itself. So there we go. Got a nice harvest of some salad leaves and some kale. Okay, next up we've got these little tomato suckers. So let's prepare some pots for them. Okay, let's get some bone meal. Mix that in a little bit. Let's look at these guys and see which ones we want to plant. Now what I did is, with tomato suckers, these are the little guys that grow between the leaf stems and the main stem. And what you do is you take them, you cut them off and you put them in a little bowl of water. And you'll see that they start to grow roots after some time. This is a new one that I put in today. So it doesn't have roots yet, so we'll keep that one. Keep that one in water. And let's just have a look here. We'll find some guys that have the best roots. This guy has a good root as well. And these guys have just started, so let's see if we can find something better. No roots on that one. Ideally you want to take off as much of these leaves as possible and just leave a little bit the primary leaves, and we'll do that one. That one's got a quite deep root, and these guys are still little. So what I will do is I'll go back and I will take this one and we'll put all of these back into our little water container. And what I've discovered is you actually don't have to be too fussy about this. If the leaves go into the water, that's actually fine. Just make sure you refill the water as often as needed. And an interesting thing about tomatoes is that actually you will see with some of them, not that one in particular, but this one, sometimes the roots grow along the main stem. And that is something you can actually do, is you can plant a tomato plant horizontally and it will grow roots along the main stem as well as grow up. So what we'll do with this guy is we'll actually plant it like this. I'm going to plant one in each of these pots with the goal to eventually transplant them into the main tomato container so that we have a continuous harvest of tomatoes really in the future. And what we want to do is, again, we want to make sure that main branch is covered, which is a bit difficult with the shape of this guy. So I'm actually just gonna redo that. As long as some leaves are above ground, it'll be fine. That's much better. And then now we've got two here, so I will plant both of them in this container. This is going to be a bit better. Here I'm actually going to remove this little leaf branch so that we can plant it a little deeper, giving it a better chance. And then here, let's see, this is the soil left from the strawberries. I want to add some more soil to that as well, and him we'll just push in there like that. And then our last little guy, again, we've already got a sucker on here as well, which is amazing. We're going to remove that. Again, we want to give this guy the best chances it can have, and we will just plant it like that, and we'll wait for them to grow a little bit more mature. And then when we are happy with that, we will cut down the main ones we have and remove them, and then we will plant these guys in their place, and we'll keep doing it. As you see, we have a continuous way of recloning these guys in this method, and at some point we do want to keep planting seeds as well, because of, obviously every new clone gets a little bit weaker and more disease prone. Now in this container we're going to start a new planting scheme using the gooseberries, the peas, and then the startiums. And this container is an example of how you can mix flowers and fruiting plants to still achieve a balanced scheme while using different kind of plants. You don't necessarily have to use fruiting plants. In fact, in nature it would be very rare that you have fruiting plants this much. It's more likely that you have a lot of flowers and very few fruiting plants. You may have one bush of fruiting plants and surrounded by grasses and surrounded by flowers. So in this container we're going to do that. Nasturtiums also have a lot of other downstream benefits to the plants other than the nutrient balance that it can help with. It will chase away a lot of little insects as well as help with pollination. So let's get started on that. What I'd like to do is I'd like to start with the gooseberries. These will make little bushes, so we've got to be careful not to put too many of them in. So let's see what the seeds look like. So the seeds are quite small. So let's make like 3 little holes here, and we'll make them the center of our planting scheme. And yes, I'm planting a lot of small seeds in there. You'll see I previously had some onion seeds in here, but they did not survive, so we're repurposing this container, and I will put these guys aside for now. Then next up, let's do the peas. Again, our peas are our primary entry point, so really we can't have too many of them. So I'm going to sprinkle them through the side in rows and through here in rows, not quite that cramped. Put that on there, and then here as well in rows. And we'll use these other guys in future projects. It's good to always keep planting seeds because you want to have continuous harvest. So the more you plant, the more you harvest. Then lastly, let's do the nasturtiums. These guys also have pretty big seeds, so we'll just push this guys in kind of around our main plants here and here and here and here. Make sure everything's covered up nicely. And that's our new planting scheme. Let's see what happens.